Hey, we're back at the top again today with the second video as we are wrapping up Generation 7. I hope you are enjoying everything that Sword and Shield has to offer, as well as everything else that I'm doing on this channel. But we are wrapping up this year by wrapping up everything from Generation 1 to Generation 7. I'm saying the word wrapping too much, and I'm not even rapping. Well, anyways, last time we revisited all my best memories from each generation. However, on the same token, there are some of the worst memories from each generation. But, as always, these are memories that occurred during that specific generation. So that means they need to take place during that generation to count, on technicality. Before we dive in, let me know some of your worst memories from the past generation in the comments section below. But it's time to take a trip back to the past, so here are my worst memories that define each of the past generations. From having unlimited Mewtwo's to wandering around in a cave for an entire weekend. Yes, Generation 1's worst memory was not really a fun one. I was heading to my grandparents' house one day, and I wandered into the Seafoam Islands looking for Articuno. I saved in front of Articuno, battled it, and I caught it. And tried to find the way out. Only issue was, I could not find the way out, like, at all. I'm stuck in there wandering around the entire cave trying to find this exit. It's not like I can just restart the game because, as I just said, I had saved in front of Articuno. If I turn it off, then I just end up right in front of Articuno yet again. All I wanted to do was to enjoy some Pokemon during the off hours while visiting my grandparents. Instead, I find myself basically with a blindfold running around in circles while in a dark cave. Not really how I wanted to spend that vacation. I've mentioned it on this channel before. More specifically, it was during the original Journey of Generations back in 2016. But early on in my Pokemon years, I would restart the game but not save. That way, I could just reset my game and my old file would remain. So one day, I decided to do that again in my Pokemon Silver game. And this isn't the first time I've done this, like I say, but this time I managed to get all the way to Goldenrod City. I made my way to the radio tower, and I talked to the lottery corner. When she said that I had a Gengar in my PC that matched the ID of the week, honestly, I was just confused. I went right to the PC to check thinking that, yeah, I don't have a Gengar in this file. And back in the old games, if you tried to change the box or go to the move Pokemon option, it would save the game prior. And my clueless self decided to go and try to move Pokemon without realizing I had just saved over my old file. Of course, I hadn't registered yet what I had done, but the next time I had booted up the game to try to play my old file, it was no more. Long story short, my file was gone, and I cried. While it sucked in the short term, in the long term, it was actually a good thing. Since that was the file, I ended up finding those 3 shiny Pokemon I mentioned in the best moments video. But ever since then, I have never tried to play another file on another Pokemon game without saving. I mean, starting Generation 4, you couldn't accidentally even delete your files like that. So this is the only exception to the rule where you have to use memories from that generation for it to count. Mainly because this is so substantial. For Generation 3, it did not occur during that generation. It actually occurred back in 2012. I hinted at it in the last video, but during that variant of the Journey of Generations, you know, the one where I found a shiny Chikorita in Heart Gold, and later a shiny Liepard in White 2, I actually had a third shiny that I'd rather not be reminded of. I know you know the rumors. The rumors where the Ralts that Wally can encounter can be shiny. There is video evidence of this. A lot of times, uncatchable shinies are frustrating to run into, because you know you can't even get a shot at catching them. However, I have an even worse horror story for you. There's a reason why that this is a technicality to the rule I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and that's because of how I encountered this shiny Pokemon. I wish you could have seen my face when I found out that the Zigzagoon that Norman gave to Wally ended up being shiny. Why I'm so frustrated with this is there's no way I could have stopped and grabbed a camera because there's no way to pause the game, but I am 100% positive that I saw a shiny Zigzagoon with the shiny animation. This occurred before I got those 2 shinies later on that year, which made me annoyed, because at the time I had not run into any shinies for the 6 years prior before this. Luckily though, I did end up running into those 2 shinies to counter this horrific situation, so I got that going for me, which is nice. If you thought that last one was frustrating, wait until you hear about what happened to me in Generation 4. Okay, so both of them are equally as frustrating. One just was in the moment. One was drawn out over time. So in Pokemon Platinum, you can catch Giratina in the Distortion world, right? Well, for most people it was quite easy. Even my friend managed to get it on one of those first few tries. For me, however, I got to spend an even longer amount of time. I wanted to spend my spring break having fun with my friends, enjoying time off from school, and just playing Pokemon, you know? Instead, I couldn't even enjoy playing video games at all because most of the time that week I ended up trying and failing for 5 days straight just to catch the stupid thing. I could catch a cold easier than catching that Giratina. Between March 27th to April 1st, I tried, and I tried, and I tried again, yet I consistently failed. And eventually, I gave up. Until the end of spring break where I finally was able to catch the legendary Pokemon. I can finally move on with the story of Platinum, way after my friend had already completed it days before me. And it sucks to fall behind, but it's even worse when you fall behind for such a frustrating reason. There's not much to Generation 5 and its worst memories. I don't have memories that have been burned into my mind as very frustrating. There is one event, however, that most likely has made its mark. It has something to do with Generation 5 and Pokemon itself, but it didn't happen in any game. Rather, the result happened in real life. I've been talking about some stuff that happened between my friend and I throughout all of these memories, right? Well, long ago during Generation 4, and a little bit into Generation 5, we'd have these battling leagues. So many great memories I've had playing Pokemon with him. Well, when it comes to Generation 5, we started that league over the summer in 2012, and after getting frustrated after one of the last battles of the night, I decided to turn my game off abruptly. Little did I know that that was going to have a ton of repercussions, as after that, well, we haven't battled since. While he did end up getting Pokemon Black 2 later in 2012, that would be his last Pokemon game that he would buy. That could be because he didn't want to spend the extra money on a 3DS, but I'm wondering how much of that was planted back when I initially disconnected from that final battle over the summer of 2012. So with the later generations, it gets easier for me to pinpoint these bad memories. It's mainly because a lot of these memories are in videos on my channel already. Unfortunately for Generation 6, there isn't actually any specific memory that rings a bell. Honestly, Generation 6 is under that nostalgia umbrella that many people have. This is the generation that introduced me to the Pokemon YouTube community. It is also the generation that I had gone into without knowing all the new Pokemon and the other new things because I dodged the leaks prior to the release. There's a lot of nostalgic things that block out all the bad, but there is one thing that kept rearing its ugly head, and that was one Mega Evolution known as Mega Kangaskhan. You could load up any episode of Battlespot Champions back in the day and find myself running into a Mega Kangaskhan. Two moments hold true to this day, which are in episode 89 and 90 of Battlespot Champions. Those two were basically a microcosm of my time in Battlespot back in Generation 6. In fact, Mega Kangaskhan got me so mad that in episode 90, named Hangar Management, I ended up doing something kind of stupid. Tell you what, just look at it for yourself. So I'm just praying. Praying. Okay, head, get ready to get crushed! I can't, the cart's in the way. I got a hanger around my neck because I'm going crazy with Mega Kangaskhan. Mega, we're bringing, I don't care, we're bringing Sableye. No, I don't care what it is, we're bringing Sableye. In short, Mega Kangaskhan is probably the holder of many of my worst memories of Generation 6. In the same vein as Generation 6, Generation 7 is no different. Since most of the time I was playing while I was recording, you're gonna find a lot of these moments on my YouTube channel. And even though Mega Kangaskhan got nerfed in this generation, it was a different Pokemon that decided to take its place. Back in 2017, I was in a draft league called the NPA. In 1 week, I got to face an old friend, and he had a Pokemon on his team that would be the bane of my existence in Generation 7. I got destroyed by it in that match. And then in my very next league, the Pokemon Global League, I got to face it again. I got destroyed by it. But I still made the playoffs, and I was one win away from the finals. And sure, lightning struck twice before, but it can't happen a third time, right? But I can't take a hit, and I'm already gonna hit with the Stealth Rocks, so I need to be very careful about that. I cannot do anything else, and unfortunately, here comes out the Magearna on my Brave Bird. What I should have done is maybe Whirlwinded, but I just wanted to go for the knockout, I guess. But again, hindsight is 20/20. This is what happens when you post-combat battle instantly right after. You second-guess your moves, after you're just watching it from the other side. So here, I'm actually going to stay in and go for the Whirlwind. Unfortunately, he froze me solid. He froze me solid right there. And now I have a freaking... How do I put it? I have a Magearna right here, right now, on the here, and I think he's going to go for Shift Gear. It's like, it's a perfect time to go for the Shift Gear. I can't imagine that he will not go for the Shift Gear here. He had Shift Gear the last time. I don't see why he would not run. Like, he's been running Shift Gear this entire season, and with a frozen Skarmory on field, I mean, odds are I wasn't going to stay in it regardless, but with a frozen Skarmory on the field, he has no reason not to. You know the saying, once is a fluke, twice is a coincidence, and 3 times is a trend. Yep, Magearna was the Pokemon that replaced Mega Kangaskhan for this generation. They always defeated me and every Draft League team that I had, and I'm hoping there is nothing like those 2 Pokemon in Generation 8. Please, I'm tired of running into these Pokemon that I can never beat. But with that will wrap up my worst memories from each generation. I hope to create more memories as we're just getting into Generation 8 now. If you want to participate in these videos and events, follow me on Twitter or join my Discord. Links are in the description. Do you have any terrible memories from the past generations that you want to share? Well, let me know in the comment section below, as I will try to read all of them. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss any videos or events related to Sword and Shield, and to start the climb today. With that, I want to thank you for watching. I'm going to catch you back at the top later on, because that's how we do live.